Good atmosphere today?
Yeah, it's a good atmosphere. There's a lot of people. I feel happiness.
Yeah.
I also feel proud.
I absolutely love your outfits. Can you tell me a bit about
invest more in the dragon child. So, for example, one study reported a height gap was diminished between dragon girls and boys in their year because these dragon daughters had been fed and invested in more than would be non-dragon girls, for example. So there are a whole lot of kind of factors attached to this, and it's more like a bonus. It's a kind of cultural legacy bonus than something that people would plan. I mean, it's 12 years. You can't plan your family formation around 12 years.
No, that would be a little bit difficult, wouldn't it? You'd have quite a big gap between children there, wouldn't you? The mood in China, though, when you come into the Year of the Dragon, what is it like? Is it really optimistic then?
I lived in Beijing for 8 years, including one dragon year, which was 2012. I wouldn't say that it's optimistic. It's an auspicious year, so that can be a very volatile year. It can be a year of big change. It can be a year of different things. It doesn't necessarily mean it's all good news. It implies that it's kind of big news. But definitely, I mean, Chinese New Year is traditionally celebrated with dragons, in the streets and so on. This includes in London and Melbourne. That makes the Dragons Parade this year a bit bigger than normal. That's all I would say.
Wonderful. And we've been seeing pictures while you have been speaking. Thank you so much. Lauren Johnson there speaking to us here on BBC News. Well, do stay with us. Your headlines are coming up.
Good evening. It's certainly been a challenging week of weather, hasn't it? With snow or rain, and some of that rain producing some localised flooding. So it was a refreshing start to the weekend, quieter with some sunny spells. That was Oxford, and here was the Lake District just a few hours ago. A few scattered showers producing some beautiful rainbow pictures, but all in all, relatively quiet. And it'll be a similar story for Sunday. We've got to get rid of this nuisance rain that's pushing up through the east of the Pennines into eastern Scotland overnight. That'll be there first thing. Some clearer skies, some early morning sunshine the further west you are. And then as we go through the afternoon, a brisk westerly breeze will drive in a few scattered showers, and these will push inland. So it's another day of sunny spells and scattered showers for many, and temperatures around 7 to 11 degrees. We're starting to lose that really bitterly cold air now in Scotland. There's more rain to come though as we look through the week ahead. The heaviest of the rain into the east to begin with, but then out to the west we are likely to see a further 50 millimetres of rainfall, perhaps in western Scotland, Wales and southwest England. So more unsettled story to come. Low pressure never too far away, and into Monday that low pressure will be centred to the northwest. A weak weather front producing more cloud ahead of it. The showers out to the northwest will be frequent across Northern Ireland, northwest Scotland, and there'll be some snow to the tops of the mountains once again. England and Wales dry with sunshine around, and again those temperatures generally between 6 and 10 degrees. Now as we move out of Monday into Tuesday, again it'll be a relatively quiet start with this little ridge of high pressure, but all eyes down to the southwest as this next weather front will bring some rain slowly but surely into southwest England, Wales, and gradually across Channel Coast towards the Midlands by the end of the day. So the best of the drier weather will be northeast England and into Scotland, I suspect, on Tuesday. And again, those temperatures pretty similar, 7 to 11 degrees. Now, southwesterly wind is going to continue to take over. That'll drive in more wetter weather, potentially through Wednesday and Thursday. And with tightly packed isobars, the breeze picking up. But with that southwesterly flow, it will drive in milder air once again. So milder still, we could see temperatures into the mid-teens by the middle part of the week for some. Hopefully, indications are something a little quieter into next weekend.
Today we're looking at the state of British politics.
Asking, is technology ruining football?
Are we too obsessed with our phones?
Helen from Hull wants to know, how hot's the planet going to get?
And we'll explain why prices keep going up and up.
Also, Rach, did you know space has its own smell?
Really? What of? The world is fast moving and can be confusing.
So let's talk about it.
5 Live Breakfast with Rachel and Rick. Listen on BBC Sounds.
مجبور هستی که به خاطر زنده ماندن خود ترکش کنی.
Behind every headline,
What was going through your mind?
I was positive that I was going to die.
This cold is killing us.
There is a human story.
These TikTokers accidentally found a bot.
There's real people behind these stories.
This is our world.
There are people here who've lost loved ones.
A series of documentary films that reveal the human drama at the heart of global events.
We literally took nothing at all.
Trying to save lives, we have to protect our people.
Everyone okay? We know that the clock is ticking, but I choose to stay hopeful.
This isn't a movie. This isn't a game. This is real.
Our world. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Live from London, this is BBC News. People living in the isolated north of Gaza tell the BBC that children are going without food for days as aid convoys are increasingly denied permits to enter. Russian drones hit a fuel depot in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, causing a huge fire which killed 7 people, 3 of them young children. And he's considered one of the most talented and versatile actors in the world. Cillian Murphy speaks to the BBC. Hello and welcome to the programme with me, Frankie McCamley. Well, let's start this half hour with sport. And for a full roundup from the BBC Sports Centre, here's Lizzie Greenwood-Hughes. And Lizzie, lots of football and rugby action going on.
Yeah, this is a really busy Saturday. We're starting with rugby union because it is round 2 of the Six Nations and a huge game going on at Twickenham where England are currently losing 7-5 to Wales, just approaching half-time. Well, earlier, Scotland couldn't hold on at home to France. Leading for most of the game in Murrayfield, Scotland succumbed late on when France scored a try to go 17-16 in front. Scotland could have won it in the last minute, though, but what they thought was a try was disallowed by the TMO, and France went on to win the match 20 points to 16.
Well, it's probably the 8 minutes or whatever after the match. It was emotional to everybody that was in the stadium. We're celebrating the box because we can hear the TMO saying the ball was on the ground. We can see the ball on the ground. It's obviously a huge disappointment that that try wasn't awarded at the end.
It was a physical game, obviously, but we had to play the conditions as well. You know, it would have been quite easy for the French lads. Was it 13-3 at one stage? You know, you're away from home. it's freezing cold, it's etc. There's a lot of excuses you could use, a lot of players missing, etc. But they didn't. They showed fight, they showed spirit, and that's what we pride ourselves on.
Well, let's move on to football now. And Liverpool stay top of the Premier League after beating strugglers Burnley 3-1 at home. There was a club record league crowd at Anfield of nearly 60,000, but it wasn't entirely straightforward for Liverpool despite the scoreline. Their goals from Diogo Jota, Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez.
We did really well. It was just a difficult one. I mean, people think we go here through with no real effort. That was never possible. And so, yeah, a good afternoon. If it's not clicking like immediately, fight through it. And that's what the boys did again. And it was a really tough situation.
Well, Manchester City is still hard on Liverpool's heels, though, as their impressive winning run continues. This time 2-0 against Everton. Erling Haaland scored both goals, his first since November after returning from a foot injury. Everton remain in the relegation zone, while City are 2 points behind Liverpool in second with a game in hand.
I think we always work hard as a team, so fantastic performance, difficult game, and good to win. But we've already been on quite a good run now. I think we're 10 in a row in all competitions, so we're already doing quite well. So I don't know, there has to be something, and it's a good thing.
The team never dropped, so we didn't concede one shot on target. So we didn't concede anything in corners or free kicks. So we were stable. The back four is moving really, really well together. We make a step forward in that sense, and the guys who came from the bench, Kyle and Kevin and Bernardo and Jack, we played perfectly the last 10 minutes with 2-0. So, yeah, many things. I'm really pleased for the win this type of games in that way.
Well, elsewhere, Fulham beat Bournemouth. There was a huge win for bottom side Sheffield United over Luton. Tottenham grabbed a very late win at home to Brighton. Their winner from Brennan Johnson in the 96th minute. And Ivan Toney was on the score sheet again for Brentford, who beat Wolves at home. Well, on to the international stage, and Qatar have won the Asian Cup for the second time in a row. They beat underdogs Jordan 3-1 in the final in Doha. Akram Afif scored a hat-trick, but unusually all 3 goals were penalties. And after his first, Afif's celebration was called the best ever when he performed a magic trick. Well, that's it from me. As always, there's much more on our website, but a quick update on the rugby. Wales are now leading England 14 points to 5 on the stroke of half-time.
Oh, thank you, Lizzie. Thanks for that extra little update there. Now, let's go to Ukraine, where officials in the country say a Russian drone attack has killed at least 7 people in the city of Kharkiv. 3 of the dead are a baby and 2 young children, killed along with their parents. The drones are thought to have hit an oil depot with diesel and petrol mixing to create what a local police chief described as a hellish lava. The resulting fire flooded a residential street, setting fire to homes and cars.
Hello, you are live on BBC News here from the BBC Sports Centre. Welcome to Sports Day with me, Hugh Ferris. The headlines this evening. Spot the balls.